Was there any particular point where you felt you reached the point of no return? I mean, obviously, when you sign on the dotted line, you're through the threshold. There's no turning back. But any particular incident where the challenge that you faced from that point on, there was just no going back?
You know the lump in your throat? You ever get a lump in your throat?
Yeah.
I remember the recruiter picking me up, and it's the first time. It's right after September 11th. I have no idea what's going to happen. You know, all that, and I had this big lump in my throat. Like, we're driving away from my house, and like I have no idea what I'm doing right now. And that was it, you know. And then it's weird. It's so strange. Like, once I got to boot camp, and they're yelling at you, I felt like okay, I'm doing something, you know. I'm really doing something right now. And then I remember, like, a few weeks later, we're sitting there in our barracks. The RDC, they call him in the Navy, like the drill instructor, comes in and he reads a letter from the president, from George Bush, and says, "We're going to war." And everybody starts cheering. And I'm the only one not cheering. I'm like, oh, what's that mean? And then a few months later, I'm actually, like, you know, deployed for this war. And it was interesting, you know. I knew that I wanted to be there, and I wanted to do the best that I could. And no matter what my job was, even if it's sweeping floors on the ship. But I did a lot more than that, for sure. But
in this period where you were undesignated and it's an undefined position, what happened there that you gained any insights or tools or support or mentors in that time?
This was one of the most. I look back on these 2 years on the ship. Those were the 2 years that pretty much made me, like, set the foundation for who I am today. Would I ever go back there? No way. But no way. But it definitely helped make me who I am today. There was a few moments, like, I worked on the bow in Fly One. It's called Fly One. I was a blue shirt, and a few months into working there, we were doing workups in the Mediterranean, and F-14 Tomcat crashed right in front of me, and I saw the pilot die right in front of me. You know, it was crazy. So up until that moment, I was very upset that I was in this situation where I was in this place I didn't want to be, and then that happened, almost like I knew it was gonna happen somehow, and like some kind of thing above me, like I knew it was gonna happen, but there's nothing you could do about it. But then it happened, and then I remember every moment about it, and I just remember like putting it behind me and just getting on with the job for the moment. It wasn't until a few years later that I actually thought about that and how much impact it had on me. But that was the one moment where I realized, wow, I'm in a war. This is happening. This is dangerous. I have to have my head on my shoulders. I have to keep my head on a swivel. I have to be there for my shipmates. I have to keep everybody safe. And I have to keep myself safe. I have to do my job. And so I remember thinking to myself that I wanted to get more into my Judaism, you know? And then I remember hearing on the one MC on the ship, the speakers on the ship, that there's Jewish worship service going on. So I went down there, I went to check it out, and I met a rabbi. I met a pilot at the time. His name is Aaron Kleinman. He's a Navy. He was a Navy pilot, and now he's a Navy chaplain.
I know. Yeah. Yes.
He was there. He was a lay leader, and he was a really good mentor. You know, it's just so simple. Like something as simple as just like leading a half-hour worship, like Jewish service, could have such an impact on somebody. It really made a big difference. So, example, he told a story about like giving 100 brochos a day, you know? And I remember like taking that to heart because I actually started doing it, and it really helped my mentality become from like this depressed guy who didn't want to be there, surrounded by all these shipmates who are doing other than holy things sometimes, and you know, and taking that situation and making it better, coming like I was blessing everything. I was going crazy with it. Like I was blessing my food, the doorknobs, like, you know, I was happy to have like a clean shower. And then one day I was moving a E2C Hawkeye, And I was a chalk walker. I had a chalk. We had to walk along the side of the wheel. And now the flight deck can get pretty greasy and slippery at times. And especially when the boat's turning, the ship's turning, the planes can slip and slide. So that's why we have to have the chocks ready to throw it in the wheel. And so there's a brake rider inside the cockpit riding the brakes just in case they have to put the brakes on. And we turned and the boat was turning and the plane started to slide. So I threw the chalk, and then this is after I said a brucha on the chalk, by the way. Thank you, Hashem, for this chalk. I threw the chalk, and it came from like within a foot of like coming to the edge of the flight deck, and it was like whoa! I could have just saved the tractor rider and the brake rider from going overboard. It was amazing, and I just remember thinking back to the 100 bruchas story from the lay leader. And that was like a big thing for me, and then from that point on, I wanted to read everything I could about Judaism and like, religions and stuff.
So watching that one pilot and it die, then realizing this is real, that was like a game changer.
Totally real.
And
right.
That drove you to search deeper inside yourself and your own history, who you are, and then obviously going back into Judaism and finding
right.
some comfort and some direction within that, and then and having an example of that whole thing with the chalks being a clear, in a sense, a validation of the journey that you're going on.
Right. So yeah, it definitely had a lot to do with my journey. Yeah.